pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, today is Thursday, June 16th. It's 8:30, and so we're going to proceed here with our agenda that we have in front of us. First of all, let's go ahead with roll call, and we'll start out. First of all, who is all here this morning? Paul?
Here.
Okay, Mr. Hammer?
Yeah, here.
Mrs. Gillespie?
Here.
And Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Okay, we have a quorum present, so I need a motion to approve our routine business.
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we need a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Can I have a motion for that, please?
I'll go ahead and approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
Second by Schmidt. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's go on to our reports. First of all, the first item on our agenda today, item number 1, the budget report by Terry Floyd.
Good morning. Before you, it's on the back side of your agenda. Well, you'll have the budget sheet there. Not a lot to speak of. We just started spraying, I think, probably a month or so ago. So, and I think that's probably a month or so ago is when we changed over the times for the weed spray guys. So if you're not aware, our weed guys, like Russ and then the other guy we have, they're half-time on the highway budget, and half-time out of the weed budget. So I didn't know if you were aware of that, but, so that's why you'll see we finally start having some personnel, money coming out of the budget here, so. Not a whole lot to speak of. We haven't ordered any spray yet. Typically, that's later in the year. We did do some improvements. We had budgeted $3,000 for doing software updates on the spray loggers. We got those done. Those were, I think they were probably about $1,000 or, well, right now it's 515 is what came out, so, for the year, so. You got any questions on the budget? None? Just as an FYI, we are starting the budget process for next year's budget. Don't see a whole lot of changes in next year's budget, just as an FYI to you guys. So we will be, I think we did put in there to purchase a new Ranger, get rid of the older one we have. So that'll be the one item, I guess, that we'll be looking for. So, but otherwise, a lot of the other items are pretty standard as far as the rest of the categories. So, but
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Second item on our agenda is a spray report. Russ Hagan?
Morning. As far as spraying goes, like Terry said, we got started here a while back, and between wind, rain, cold, it's been interesting, but there's 680 miles we do. I've got just about 2/3 of it done. Now it's gonna be kind of switch over a lot more with the Ranger and spot spraying. You know, beans are pretty fragile right now, and grass is getting a little tall and that, but we're in good shape for spraying. With the bigger truck, I can cover a lot of ground in a hurry compared to what I used to, so we're getting there. We're doing good this year so far. As far as weeds, they were kind of slow start with cold, but yeah, they're really coming on now. Especially thistles will start popping up now. The broadleaves are coming. And what I've done so far, it looks like it's holding. We'll see what happens if I have to go back and do any fall spray on anything, but trying to catch up on everything. that's about it for as far as spraying report.
Russ, do we have a lot of townships that ask us to spray for us? How many if we do?
We generally do 6. 3 of them have already called me, and the other 3, year after year, I gotta call them back, and they say, yeah, and townships, I generally spray in the fall, cause I try and get over our stuff first. One likes to be spring, but they're up north, and it's a swamp up there now with the rain, that there ain't no spraying that till fall's the best time to do it anyway, but we generally end up with 6, but I have 3 right now.
Do we charge them by the mile or how do we do that?
By expense. We have a flat rate on the equipment, and then your labor and whatever chemical cost is, that's what we charge them. You can't go above that being government. You just, basically, it's what our expense is. And then we have the truck rate, and if I use the Ranger or whatever, big truck's a little more than the smaller truck, but that's how we do it.
Okay.
Are you able to get all the chemicals that you need?
Yes, this year we're lucky because we buy our chemical in the fall for the following year. So we got our stuff all bought in the fall, and yeah, this spring, they were actually limiting and putting you on a list to get chemical, and I know chemicals expenses are really going up. But I'm also working on more spot spraying instead of blanket spraying to try and bring that down, but that's a catch-22. You can do a lot of spot spraying, and then 3 years later, you got a big dirty mess. So I'm kind of trying to balance my roads out and pick certain ones that I blanket spray them and then work on the others, and you get a rotation. So you bounce back and forth, but I'm trying to get down on the amount of chemical I use. Because we have a lot of ditches that farmers hay them so they're good and clean. Well, there's no reason to spray to the fence. So I've actually added one more tip to the truck that only sprays 6 foot, so I can hit the shoulder that gets dirty. Or I can do 11 foot or 30 feet, depending. I'm trying to more pinpoint spray, use less spray. But yeah, when you spot spray, you can get in trouble, do that too often, and then pretty soon the weeds get thick, and then you just gotta go back and get it. I'm slowly working at it. We're getting better. I'm trying to get the chemical costs down.
Some of the areas last year that were high target areas, I know you said you kind of monitor and so on. Did we do a good job last year so they aren't a target area this year?
Yeah, the best I had was the fall spraying on a bunch of thistles, and I hit that hard. I went at it hard, and a lot of them did really good. And using Milestone, you'll see about a year and a half, 2 years, they're gonna come back again, but I had a really good job there. Some of the early stuff I did, and with it getting so hot, it's like it didn't work well. You got about a half kill on it. So it was about a 50-50 shot. When it finally cooled down, the stuff did better. But my fall spraying of Canadians, that really worked out good. There's still lots of spots out there to get, but I'm slowly picking away at them.
Okay. Any other questions regarding the spray report? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the equipment report. Russ?
Equipment, it's been doing good. I had one valve go bad, but every winter I basically take everything apart, make sure it works right, and yeah, they're all doing real good so far. We added mapping onto our Rangers so I can prove where I was or wasn't with them. That was something we didn't have, and works good. I'm learning it. What don't work good is me learning the computer to make it work, but we're getting there. That it does work good, and it proves if I was here or wasn't there, and then I can go back in the winter and where I'm spot spraying and figure out, is it doing any good?
Okay. Moving on then, I know we mentioned a little bit about trouble spots. Anything else you'd like to add?
I intended to send letters out early to some of the people we had issues with last year, and I was 8 letters I was gonna send out, and going through, getting the letters done, and then go back and look it up, and 7 of the 8 of them have already changed owners, so it's a start over anyway. And then the one I had issue with up on the Lennox exit, I did get a hold of that one, and they are supposed to spray. Well, stay on them again. They don't think they have to, but no, you have to. which I kinda explained to him that it's bare ground. If you would get a farmer to farm it, that would take care of it and it wouldn't cost you near as much, but. Yeah, so far complaints wise, I've only had, couple of them, and those were taken care of right away. So, and they'll start now, this will start getting big and that, we'll start getting the usual ones and chase them down. But as far as our ground for trouble spots, I'm where I wanna be with them, trying to work on them hard, getting there. You get one cleaned up, you gain two more, but keep picking away at them.
Okay, any other questions?
On anything I'm doing? Thank you.
Thank you, Russ. Okay, as far as old business, is there any old business at this time?
Not that I'm aware of.
What's that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Seeing none and hearing none, new business. I guess, one question I have, again, I know, we're all getting squeezed a little bit here with fuel prices. I imagine, has this at all been, an issue with your budget this year or anything?
No, actually, I'm doing what I feel is pretty good because I went to that bigger truck with 1,800 gallons versus the 500 and I can cover 24 miles in one shot. I'm farther ahead now this year with one person than I was 2 years ago with 2.5 people.
Okay.
Because they have bigger equipment, I can go out and spray for 2 hours straight instead of go out and spray for a half hour, go back and load, spray for a half hour. And that's kind of what I've been trying to do since I took over. And Terry and I have been doing some thinking and working and possibly if I can downsize the equipment, not as much equipment, because if I can cover more ground by myself, you don't need 3, 4 people spraying. But, you know, you're dancing on a bit of a razor's edge there too. You gotta be able to cover the ground, so, yeah, we're doing all right. Trying to keep it tight, and I keep trying to work down on less chemical, but I do gotta kill the weeds too, and you gotta find that fine edge there.
And your problem, like ours in agriculture, it's the wind. We've had such a windy spring.
Well, this week I had help all week long, cause I grab a guy from the other side when they're not busy and that, and everything we started this week, we were shot in the foot. You go out for 2 hours in the morning and then you're done. So then we go out and we hand spray. I'm trying to kill a lot of this brush in the ditch. You know, you can try and go down there with a tractor and mower, but I have a chemical that's good. It's actually for killing brush, and so we switch back and go do that. But, yeah, we pick away. If you find a spray that doesn't drift, I'll buy all of it.
Anything you wanted to add, Terry?
Yeah, Jim, just to answer your question on the fuel costs, you know, they get everything from the highway and we got our bid for fuel, so, for gas, we're at 3.78 and 3.97, I think, something for gas and diesel. Now, I can't remember which one's which, but, again, that's a year-long bid, so we've kind of got stuff locked in, and, yeah, we do all of our supply bids in February, so that's when those were awarded, so. We're kind of, like I said, we're kind of locked in for prices.
Sure.
But,
I don't suppose we can get in on that. We can get in on that price too.
well, I would suppose, we'd have to ask the Board of County Commissioners if you guys, as long as you're acting in your position as a weed board, if you're going out, you know, inspecting for weeds, possibly, but, it'd probably be just a mileage thing. I don't know, but, yeah.
Well, I know even like propane contracting now too is about 70 cents more than what it was last year at this time, so. Okay, any other new business that needs to be brought up at this time before the weed board?
Just, you need to set the date for the next meeting if we could.
Okay,
So, when do we typically do?
August or September, when do we? of August, isn't it, or?
I think we tried last year for August and it ended up in September. Am I correct on that? Does anybody
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah, and it's, get that one done, and then our last meeting is in November, so we can get stuff in for budget stuff in December, so, yeah, end of August or sometime.
It's the third Thursday.
Trying to see when we did it last year here.
I think we were like the first week of September or something. What goes on in the end of August, anything that interferes or not? Beginning of August is fair and all that stuff, but
I think some schools are starting August 17th, some August 24th, somewhere in there. So, I mean,
yeah.
October is when we did it last year.
is when?
October 14th is
We
when
did
we
it
had
late
it
last
last year.
year.
Yeah, it was a little late, but,
Yeah.
so I would think if you want to pick a date in September here, you know, we'll be fine, whether it be early or late.
I guess we'll go by a recommendation that you make, Terry, if you have one today.
Any day of the week better?
You like Thursday mornings? 8:30 again?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, should we shoot for September 8th? Does that work
Yeah.
for you?
Set it there, and if it don't work, we'll adjust.
Yeah, September 8th, 8:30. So,
Okay. Are there any other announcements?
Just to repeat, if anybody calls you on weed stuff, let me know. See something, let me know. I'll go chasing after
Is
it.
it best to call you, Russ, or send a text message, email? What would you prefer?
Call me or text message. Phone's usually on me. If I'm busy, I don't answer right away, but
Okay.
electronic leash works the best, so.
Okay, thank you. Hearing nothing else, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion, a second?
I'll second it.
And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.